think he went to bed. I think he's just up. He was really got away from her last night. She dragged him out of here by the ear, you know.
Did Virginia get him last night?
Yeah, dragged him out of here by his ear.
I see that. Get out of here, you go! You go!
Oh my God, Bill. You gotta be careful loading your gun.
Has anybody called the sheriff? Oh, good heavens. Has anybody called the sheriff? Okay, we'll follow along.
Food. Get some food. Grub in here. What did I tell you last time? I'll shoot you dead. What? Just for me being hungry? Get out! No! Put it down! You better get out of here now! Oh no! Can't shoot a man for being hungry. Yeah. Sure. Pay good gold. Pay good gold. Keep walking. I said keep walking.
Don't walk that way. Get on home, Jack. I don't need my place torn up anymore. Home is over to Boise City. I don't need you boys tearing things down.
Homer has my ear. Homer's got my ear and I want it. Where's my ear? I don't know where your ear is, but I don't care where it is. Get out of here! You can't throw me out of the saloon.
What I just did.
You do that.
Boys, get home.
Get up. I'm gonna burn this shit house down.
No, you're not. You ain't burning nothing down.
Get your hat.
Get some of the boys together. Meet up over to the post office.
Get up! I thought it was small. Oh, small head, little brain. You can't throw me out of school. Yeah. I'm gonna burn this shit house down.
Both of you.
What? I'm telling you the last time. Get out of town. Get some mail. Get your mail and get. I don't want to hear any more from you. Get on.
This way, folks. Stay on the road, please. This way, folks.
You got a letter for Jack Slade in here. There's a letter right there. Right there.
No, that is not.
That's the letter I've been waiting on right there.
It's not. You not go. It's no. On the couch. Get it out. You have wrong, and we have specifically asked you to be out. Get out. Out. You may not be drunk and be in here. Get out.
Why not?
Get out.
I'm going to come back here and get my letter.
No, you're not. You're going to
I'm
go
gonna
home
come
and
back.
sober up.
I'm going to break your windows.
Mr. Slade, I do not appreciate you making threats.
That's my letter. I'm going to break
It is not your letter. You know the mail has not come yet. Everyone knows the mail is not here. Stay on the road, please. It's not here, Mr. Slade. Go home to Mr. Slade and sober up. Has anybody called Mr. Slade yet?
Charming.
What? Go to home to Virginia. This ain't gonna be good. You and I have been friends a long time, but it's in an ear. You get on top about them down here, and you head to Ravens Way.
I heard nobody.
And keep going.
Nobody.
The committee ain't gonna like this, Jack.
I'm part of the vigilance committee. I know what you boys are up to.
You've been talking, and that's all that's going to be said. You get home. Bill, you get him on his horse. You heard what I said.
I know what you boys are up to, Captain. I mean, you just have to start talking to the right people.
You'll keep your mouth.
Jack, you know better than that. They'll get ours
Like to get home to Virginia for her sake.
I've read all you boys.
You got a wife. Get home.
I know what you boys are up to. I don't know what. Wake up in there.
Come on out here. Well, first I think she has coffee. All right. Just sleep, please. I don't want you around. Just cover
We'll fix our own grub.
No, get
Run
out
along.
of the
We'll fix our own grub.
All right. Sheriff, you see that? Let me in there. Get back.
Yeah!
Right window. I just got those here too.
Put your guns down.
I know.
We done nothing wrong.
Told you to. Didn't want to hear any more from you.
Nothing wrong.
Judge Davis wants to see you. Let's go.
What? I know Davis. Don't worry, I know Davis. He's a friend of mine.
You got a warrant for their arrest. Drunk and disorderly, discharging a revolver in town.
Come on, Bill.
Stand aside.
You do the same thing to Jack.
Yeah, well. Crack 'em on. Spread out, keep the townspeople out.
Get him up down there. You check. Yeah. You gonna back him up to your house?
Come on, Jack. Go home.
Get him up.
Jack's gonna have to find his saddle. He ain't gonna be able to sit on that. Slade, I've seen you ride when you're drunker than this. Get on that horse and go home. I'd say we just drape him over and tie him.
I say we just rope his legs, throw it around the horse, and slap the horse and drag him home.
Come on, Jack. Get on your horse. Go home to Virginia.
I don't want to go home.
Go home to Virginia.
I don't want to go home.
Jack, go home.
I'm going to keep you hostage tonight.
Put it down! Put it down! Got his other?
Yeah, I got his others now. I got both of them.
All right, he had his kids. Take him over to the house.
Captain.
That was a mistake.
Captain, does anybody know where Virginia is? We don't want her in the middle of this.
Ravenwood.
Does anybody know where Virginia is?
Well, taking a big quarter hour to get up here. Well, 10 minutes more. Oh, it's so wet today, we can't even see. Okay, folks, we can follow over. This is really soggy here. If you go way to the left, it's the best place to walk.
Now the committee has ordered your death by hanging.
My dad?
You heard what I said.
My dad?
You heard me, Slade.
My dad?
You're down.
My dad, you on the committee?
Boys, take him in and
You
get him
can't do
ready.
this.
Haven't got much time.
You can't do this.
It's alone this morning.
You can't
I'm trying
do
to
this.
tell you.
Get your affairs in order.
Jack.
Stay on the other side.
Now, boys, you know what the Vigilance Committee has said. If the people will not step up and do what needs to be done, then it falls upon our hands, just as those 21 road agents did, to take care of business. We have one law. We will not tolerate crime in the Gulch any longer. You heard what I said.
Captain, I got a bad feeling about Virginia being here.
We're going to push it through.
Well, I'm not in favor that you should hang him.
That's out of your hands. People have their chance, Judge.
But he was just drunk.
What if he hurt somebody, killed
But
somebody?
he didn't.
What if he did?
Then he did it.
Hell, you're part of us. You know what the penalty is.
And you
for
know what
talking.
happened even down here last night.
Well, I'm part of it.
Well, none of us want a part of it, but we got no
We don't have a choice, Judge.
The orders have been handed down.
No, it's stupid.
We voted on it last night.
Dumb.
And it
You
wasn't
voted on it
unanimous.
last
If he
night?
didn't go home, and
It
he
was
talked,
unanimous.
then we'd all be in trouble.
You shouldn't hang him for drunkenness.
he's talking.
He's what?
He's talking. He's talking about vigilante business. The penalty for that is death. He signed it just like we did.
Well, then maybe you ought to not be doing some of the things you're doing, sir.
Maybe he shouldn't be talking. Woman's place should know that she should not open her mouth in a situation like this, too. Go back home, go to your cooking and housekeeping. This is man's business.
Maybe you'll be hanged next.
Maybe I will, but it won't be for talking about vigilante business.
Just lock him in the blockhouse.
We'll bring him out, make
He'll
sure you
sober
boys
up
clear
and he'll
past
go
this
home.
gun.
Like all the other times.
Why don't you just wait for his
Your
wife
chair
to get
down here
here?
to the
She'll be
grill.
here. Wait for Virginia.
There's
She
a
can
chair,
take him home.
I thought
We don't want any interference from any of you.
But that is
You heard
his
what I
wife.
said.
Somebody
She
said
has a
watch
right
for
to be here
Virginia.
with
I got a bad feeling about her showing up.
she's gonna show up with a gun.
You know that dang dragoon, she
better-
carries
we better
the
make
hell out of
She
me.
is his wife. She's coming.
That's what I was afraid of.
It's
If
8
my husband
miles.
was
We can
to
get
be
this
hung,
done.
I would want to be there.
Coming or not, this is over and done.
I'll guarantee you she got nothing to do with this hanging.
That is her husband.
It's her husband. She has everything to
Got
do
nothing
with
to
it.
do with man, woman business. This is all vigilante business.
He's drunk. Lock him in the blockhouse. Let him sober up and he'll go home.
We all know what a great guy is when he's sober.
He pays for all the damages he does.
Jack Slade,
How's he
You know how hard it is to get glass and mirrors out here?
you are dead. Sentence to be carried out immediately. Boys, kick him down to the corral.
Can't do this. This is wrong.
Well, don't watch it then.
Don't pay him. Let him go home.
Wait for Virginia, Captain Williams.
Let's get rope up, boys.
Hang it up. You know good now.
Slack out of it.
Somebody go get Virginia.
She's coming.
Let's slack out of the rope, boys.
Mr. Hope,
Too late for that, Jack.
I'm not letting him hang.
Stand
That's enough, Fox. Put it away. Yeah,
Just
you
wait
can't
for
get on
Virginia.
home. Be no part of this.
Hurry up, Tom. Just wait for
Mr.
Virginia,
Dalton,
Captain
grab
Williams.
that front leg of the stool.
Just wait for
Gentlemen.
Virginia.
You can't do this. You can't do this.
Wait for Virginia to get here.
No, you can't. Don't move. Oh.
Any questions? Don't talk about vigilante business.
Doc? Yo. Jackie?
I think it's going to be the end of the vigilantes.
I wished it was. I wish we could stop.
The end. I think this is enough.
Yep, clean. Boys, don't suffer him to hang. Go ahead and put him down on his back.
His wife will come riding down this road right into this area here.
Well, there he is.
That's just sad.
Jack, why the hell didn't you go home?
Oh, good God. Here comes Virginia.
Sorry, but we had no choice.
It's half perch one. I don't know what the rest is.
All we know is
Why? Why? Why did not one of you, the friends of Slade, shoot him down and not suffer him to die on the scaffold? I would have done it if I had been here. He should not have died by the hangman's rope. No dog's death should have come to such a man.
Polly, go ahead and get her back to your house. We'll take care of the body. And have them buried up on the boot hill. Box down for the undertaker. Slade, I wish the hell you'd listened and just went home.
Probably should have.
Should have. I would have got hit in the face. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Oh, okay.
How many of you were on our lantern tour last night? This is what happens if you raise Cain in our town. Actually, what happened on March the 9th was the end of a 3-day spree of Bill Fairweather and Jack Slade shooting up the town. Breaking out windows, backing horses in through window panes, riding into saloons, shooting out the kerosene lights during the time. Part of what happened, though, remains rooted in the vigilante movement. So when Slade got drunk, he would not keep his mouth shut about secrecy that the vigilante organization had required. Part of this led to the committee to sentence him to either be banished or silenced permanently. And on March the 10th of 1864, Jack Slade met his end up in Virginia City behind the big Ranks Mercantile store at the Elephant Corral. Hanged from the corral post out behind, the body was taken with the intentions to be buried up on the boot hill, but Virginia put a stop to that. She said she would ship him east to Carlisle, Illinois. When that happened, it was going to be a couple of months before the freighters got in here, so she took a tin-lined casket up to her in-town house. If you're in Virginia City, the house still exists there today. On the porch, she set out that coffin, filled it with whiskey, and had the body immersed in the alcohol. The lid was sealed, and then when the freight routes opened up, she shipped him south to Salt Lake City for shipment farther to Carlisle, Illinois. However, on the rough trail ride down there, the debate amongst the Virginia City citizens is whether or not Slade went as passenger or freight. When he did, outside of Salt Lake, one of the ox drovers, who are not the brightest bunch, found out that the wagon that Slade was being hauled in, one of the fellas went up and noticed something liquid that was dripping out underneath the wagon. He tasted of it, said, "By damn, boys, get your cups, it's whiskey." By the time he got to Salt Lake, He was pretty much emptied out, and he remains buried in the Salt Lake City Cemetery today. Virginia, she returned to Alder Gulch, and she ended up finally, after great difficulty, where'd Miss Cindy go? Our Virginia Slade, Cindy Westbrook, has done quite elaborate research on Slade's holdings and properties. She ended up getting the deeds for Ravenswood finally, and the property ended up transferred. Who was the first owner?
Rockwell.
To Rockwell, and then actually it went to Kiskadenak?
No, it went back to Virginia.
Right back to Virginia. So she ended up with the Ravenswood holding. Ravenswood was about 8 miles out of town. The big horse that she rode down, Billy Bay, was probably considered one of the fastest horses during the time period in Alder Gulch. He was known to run up at the racetrack on top of the hill on the Sundays in the races. So she had a good ride, 8 miles coming down to try to save Jack, but she got here a little bit too late. With the Montana Heritage Commission, we take great pride in trying to preserve some of the accurate cultural heritage stories of this site of Alder Gulch. And we work hard with each and every one of the interpreters to get things as close to the original event as we possibly can. They were in a rush to get him hanged before she showed up, and as you saw today, I hope that came across to the crowd a little bit. I'm Dan Thayer. I play Captain James Williams, head of the Vigilante Committee. How many children do we have here in the crowd? Well, come on up, kids. We don't bite. Not hard, anyway. All right, all you kids from 0 to 99, I'd like you to raise your hand. And I want you to repeat after me. I will not try this at home with my friends because it will not work the same. If you look at Jack, he's wearing a parachute harness so that he's kept alive and safe. Never put a rope around anybody's neck, okay? Because it is not a good thing. We do this to illustrate the history for the site. Now, if anybody has questions about what they saw here today, we'll go ahead and take a few of those if you have any. If not, I'll go ahead and introduce the cast. Do you have a question? What is it? You forgot? Well, you think about it for a minute, then you can ask me in a minute, all right? Back on this side, I've got Warrie Cofield. I've got Miss Polly Yates, Shelley Thiemer from West Yellowstone, Marjorie and Dwayne Gregg from Ennis. I've got Eric Edelman from Butte, Montana. Kurt Royer from St. Anthony there in the back. Kenny McNeil comes up out of the Utah country. I've got Old Honest Whiskey Joe, John Stapler from Alder. Cindy Westbrook, who's actually not married to Jack Slade, but married to our Sheriff Fox over here, Scott Westbrook. James Dalton. And those two of the Westbrooks come to us from Clearfield, Utah. James Dalton from Idaho Falls. Daniel Hiley from Anaconda. Bob Simpson, our Jack Slade, who's been hanged probably 80 some odd times now successfully. Hasn't taken yet, but he comes from Belgrade. Richard Hoppy from up in Havre. I've got Doug Brown that comes from Helena. Jefferson Hogue, Keith Wicks, who comes from up in the Bozeman area as well. Big old Daniel there, the short guy, he comes to us from Bozeman area. I've got Vince Franks from Belgrade. Then I've got Bob Leaf that comes down from Helena, and Mark McGraw also out of Utah. And then back here in the back, Lori Hiley, Jackie Simpson rather, who is actually Bob's wife, and Sue Abbott and Donna McNamara, Carol Franks that some of you saw on the tour last night, Joelle Olson. Anyway, Natalie Abbott from up in Missoula, and Sadie, she's in the Bozeman area now as well. But take great pride in being able to present this to you today, and we thank you for coming out. Have another performance of this at 2:30 today if you're here. Otherwise, they may have the train running at some point today. Take advantage of the other fun things to do. Virginia City, Brewery Follies, Virginia City Players, all sorts of fun things to keep you entertained. But thank you for your visit and helping us preserve this great site.
Thank you very much.